Tuesday, and I did my taxes all at the last minute. Got it done, but we're here for another edition of Yankee T News and Common Sense News Entertainment. Here with Corey Ratnowski.
Right, and here I am.
Another fruitful discussion of the issues of the day. And there, boy, Lord, there are issues of the day, are there not?
There are. I guess, all right, so a few people are listening. Here's the thing. I just mentioned to you that, well, let me start this way. As I think it was Jesse Kelly pointed out that there are blackmail files. These blackmail files are held by the Democrats on every other Democrat who is in office or any position of responsibility. Blackmail files on each other to keep each other in line. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
Where's Swalwell's file then?
Well, I'm sure the Swalwell's file is being worked very nicely by Mr. Steyer out there in California. I want to mention Connecticut because, quite frankly, Connecticut is such a dishonest state, such a corrupt state.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and now just stop for a minute, and let me just take the earlier point and plant it right in your lap, Mr. PI.
Uh-oh. Pressure's on.
Files, information, bad information. In other words, whatever is true about Democrats around the nation, you can be damn sure it's true about Democrats in Connecticut at least 2 times over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So these guys, it's a circle jerk. They've got everybody else by the short hairs in some fashion.
They're running a racket. I think they're running a pretty bad racket through the DCF here in Connecticut. That's not good for children.
Yes, that's just, believe me, take your pick. Oh, my God. So I'm just going to say that there might be certain people who are skilled at investigations who might want to see about FOIAs for some of these files on some of these Democrats, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just planting the seed. There you go. And I guess I get to water it later.
Yes, okay. You'll have to water that one for sure.
Yes. All right. So, I mean, I don't mean to dwell on this. We got to get other things
in order to make a real impact and get this stuff exposed, because the truth is the honest people do outnumber the dishonest people. Well, so it's about getting exposed, and it's about building a team to do that.
Yes. Okay. Well, yes, it is.
Process.
Something and taking it one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And pick your targets. We got to read the room, the whole 9 yards, what we've been talking about in any event. So, all right. So let's go. All right. Let's just deal with Swalwell for a minute. All right. Again, he is,
the first king of duplicity.
What?
The king of duplicity.
Well, I don't know about the king of duplicity. They all lie.
This guy's gone out and championed himself as a Me Too guy, as a guy all about women's rights and women's, like he literally just championed himself as being completely against this.
There's a bigger hypocrite than that.
Chris Murphy.
Remember this bigger hypocrite? Her name is Hillary, champion of women's rights. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or now I heard she just recently went on TV and had a lot of criticisms about the way the war is going in Iran, right? And what happened? What did she do in Benghazi again?
Yes, there's that too. Well, hey, do you know the name Thomas Friedman? Thomas Friedman.
That sounds familiar.
He's been a columnist for the New York Times for the longest time.
I saw his column.
Liberal dipwad. He's so annoying. He's second only to this Paul Krugman guy who, very questionably was awarded a Nobel Prize in economics. So we won't get into that. So Friedman comes out and says that nobody at the New York Times stopped him or corrected him or backtracked. He said he wants America to lose the war in Iran because he hates Trump.
Boy, at least he's honest about it.
Yeah, well, that kind of honesty.
How he feels.
No.
That kind of thing is intolerable. That's treason. It's not treason.
Well, it's like the idea I introduced the other day, sub-treason. Okay, it's like sub.
Well, it kind of leads to what we have. This really does directly relate with Swalwell's thing, because you got Nancy Pelosi, who was on one side of her mouth claiming that she had no idea any of this about Swilwell. And on the other hand, we know that's documented that she has bailed him out of some pretty nasty situations in the past. The idea that she has no idea is completely ridiculous. And this leads to what I want to say about George Washington. George Washington left office.
Yes.
At the end of his first term, or second term, when he decided not to run again, he said he warned us against two-party system.
Yeah,
and this is the reason why. Because one party, as long as the two parties remain two opposing parties that still love America, it's okay. But the problem that Washington warned us about has now come true. One party, the guy was amazing. One party has become infiltrated by people that are anti-American.
Okay, well, look, everything that we're seeing here in terms of using the George Washington example to start, what do you think? They learned their lesson about political factionalism, not in America, but in Britain, the Parliament, all right? How they all, shifting alliances and fought with each other, okay? Then all we did was import it to America, and in some ways it's become worse. Okay, but
natural people have opposing viewpoints to congregate together, but you can't do it formally. That's the difference. and Rushing was right, and now we have that situation. And here's I'm gonna say something a little.
But it's worse.
At what point do we decide that the Democratic Party has become a party of terror and of crime, a criminal organization rather than a legitimate political? At what point do we make that distinction? Unless it's the same thing I said about Islam a few weeks ago.
What I want to add to what you're saying is to just fill this out in terms of what's in front of us today. Okay, we can start by talking about how Washington didn't like political factionalism, but look what political factionalism has become: dirty double dealing. Okay, you have the mob working with the Democrat Party. You have the unions working with the mob, unions working with the Democrat Party. You have the Democrat Party working with drug cartels. The drug cartels are working with intelligence agencies in other countries. It's just what a mess.
A mess that Trump is trying to clean up.
Yeah, well, it's going to take a while. We could, I don't know. I want to hope and pray that there'll be enough people who see it and will be smart enough to vote back in the very ones we need, okay, to keep chopping this thing down. So
because we do, the good people, the good, reasonable, honest people do outnumber these thugs at the end of the day.
I'd like to believe that. Not with.
No, it's true. It's true. We did your graph chart. We did your graph chart a few weeks ago.
Yes. Which one?
Yeah, we only about 10% are competent, but the helpless are not all bad people, and the incompetent are not all bad people.
I know.
The predators, they're the bad people, but we agree there's only about 10% of those as well. So
what do these numbers tell us? Look,
people over here are not bad.
No, if you have a few effective people, a few effective evil people, that more than makes up for whatever percentage you want to use.
That's correct. That's because that's the one bad apple spoils the whole damn bunch theory, which is, I'm not suggesting that these 10-15% of the people don't make a bad impact. But if you want to look at the numbers as a whole, though, I do think at the end of the day, if you're going to have a fight between the good and the evil, and you got to build an army of good versus an army of evil, we could have a bigger army.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah. Well, Ricky Smith brings up the point about Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. I mean, the stupidity is overwhelming. You look at these people and you're asking yourself, how can you stand there, say those things, act that way, make these pronouncements? All right, so small shift. Okay, thank you. All right, I am glad. Okay, I don't know. Oh, all right, you know what? Time out. Stop the presses. We got to talk about Pam.
Got to talk about Pam.
Pam Bondi. She may be gone, but she's not gone. Are you ready for this?
Let's hear it. I haven't heard the latest on Pam.
A report that she's on the payroll of a leading Democrat law firm.
What?
Yes.
Pam was.
Yes, Pam, the phony.
The babe was a spy.
Oh, God, it's unbelievable. All right, yeah. No, it was an expo somewhere. call it a rumor, all right? But we just, I mean,
we don't have the, we don't know the details.
Explains how she dragged her feet, explains.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't heard anything out of this. I haven't heard anything going on with the new guy yet either.
Todd Blanche.
Yeah.
So right now, the acting attorney general. Word is that Donald Trump is going to put forth, the formal nomination form. It's one of these things where this is going to have to be done quickly. It's just like the rumor now that Sam Alito from the Supreme Court is going to retire. And, there's this same, it's weird. It's the same sense of urgency that we had at the beginning of the administration when President Trump was moving like greased lightning. Oh, yeah. My God. Okay. Things may have stalled
down.
But we're coming into another phase here where we're just looking around and going, I don't know. I don't think this is looking good for us. So we better hurry up and get done what we can while the time we have the time.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like. So, yes. And so Sam Alito, he's going to come up. Meantime, Pam has turned into a dishonest trader. And speaking of dishonest traders, we also have a report about Amy Coney Barrett, the other Supreme Court justice.
Okay.
She's been apparently spending a lot of time, shall I say, too much time, with the pro-choice crowd. So here is a woman who was selected to be a Supreme Court justice on the grounds that she was going to help overturn Roe v. Wade, which she did. But now she's a turncoat as far as this issue is concerned. So it's like we just can't win in terms of having a truly conservative court. So I just had to throw that piece of bad news out there.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe we should pack the court.
Well, I think packing the court is an inherently bad idea.
It's entirely a bad idea. But, there was, I believe, only 3 Supreme Court justices originally, were there not?
Something like that. Yeah.
It's been packed since then.
But, the whole thing is, it's kind of amazing when you think about it. These courts, the workload they've had from day one. So, right, the whole idea of a district court was to pick up the workload for the Supreme Court on the theory that, if a case gets decided in the district court, it shouldn't have to show up in the Supreme Court. Well, how did that work out?
In a judicial system that works, that's what would happen. The district courts would be responsible enough to get it right and would rarely have to go to the Supreme Court. But what we have, the courts have obviously been turned into a political fighting ground. So
yes, so there you go, which brings us back to your earlier point. All right, so we have this unholy mess. Where do we want to go with this?
Well, I hate to say this. It's depressing.
Yes, well, I'm sorry. I'm guilty. I bring it up all the depressing things.
These kind of political factionism doesn't get ultimately doesn't resolve in a ballot box. They get resolved in civil wars.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed. I predicted when I was 35 years old, I predicted the Civil War becoming the next 30 years. Well, we're 20 years into that. Let's see what happens in the next 10.
Well, how do I feel about this? There is so much evidence. Every day we turn our back. So, all right. So let's talk about that poor woman in Minnesota. What was her name? Savannah Hernandez.
Oh, yeah. She was cute. The girl that they attacked there, that 250-pound jerk off that sat on her, that pushed her down and jumped on her. A guy my age, she's what, 25 maybe? Jumped on her.
I think we both know. We wish we had been there. We know what we would have done.
I would have kicked his ass.
Yes. We take turns. What kind of people are these? Anyway, now, on a more intellectual note, I just want to, the Connecticut Sentinel, I'm giving a shout out to the ConnecticutSentinel.com to you folks listening. Go, if you aren't a fan yet, you got to go see Connecticut, CENTINNAL.com, I think. In any event, they have this great article. I was trying to post it. I guess I could do it later, about how well Democrats practice emotional intelligence. And the implication in the article is, even though, here, let me paint the picture. Okay, so the Democrats, the liberals are supposedly running our educational system. And all this stuff with DEI, CRT, SEL, transformational SEL, has as one of its cornerstone principles the concept of emotional intelligence. But it turns out that if anybody sucks at emotional intelligence, that's right. It would be the Democrats. It would be the liberals.
Right.
All we see is this emotional craziness, and they can't check themselves. They can't read the room.
A lot of them are mentally ill. A lot of them are simply mentally ill. So that's why I say the mental health crisis in this country is directly related to our political problems.
Okay, but they were made ill. Okay, I don't think they were born this way. This is
no, it wasn't always this way. What's happened is what's changed in the last 15 years or so. The election of Barack Obama brought on a Manchurian president candidate.
Yes.
That's where the Democratic strategy turned away from just debating and beating Republicans in a debate or normal demonization into a complete anti-American effort.
Mm-hmm.
And with that comes, and part of that is with a Marxist philosophy, which part of the Marxist philosophy is to exploit mentally ill people and create mental illness.
I would
by confusing things like gender identity.
All right, I don't doubt that. Okay, yeah, Barry. Yeah.
Not to mention the addiction to fentanyl, the improvisation of fentanyl.
Okay.
And the mental illness that comes with that.
Grammatical correction here, DJ Ricky. Barry Soetoro, Sotoro. And by the way, since you brought that up, I'm a fan of believing that the roots of all that is the evil of Barack Obama can be found in Indonesia and not in Kenya.
How about the overdiagnosis of diseases and overprescription of pain-killing drugs too, creating that kind of hysteria?
All right. Well, that's okay. For that, I want to bring up Sheila Matthews. You remember Sheila? You don't remember Sheila?
I remember Sheila faintly.
Faintly?
I've met 400 people this year. You got to give me a break.
Dude.
Who's Sheila Williams? Help me out.
Sheila was the one who helped you more than anybody else to show up at Ben's doorstep.
Oh, Sheila Gallo.
Well, Sheila Gallo Matthews.
That's how I know her, as Gallo. Matthews threw me off with that. I know Sheila. Yeah, I know Sheila. Yeah.
But she, what is it, 20 plus years now that she's worked on this issue of the, over drugging of kids in school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so
that doesn't breed mental illness crisis. I don't know what does.
Yeah, well, what she's suggesting is this is at the root, and then we can see that there are other things that have added to it over time. And so, all right, since I've stumbled into this,
dog world. Of course, a dog world.
Okay, Sheila's main point is that the psychiatrists have long since circled the wagons, and they protect each other whenever a problem shows up. So if there was some young man who shot people up and he was getting psychiatric treatment, being pumped full of all these, serotonin agonist drugs, then they say, nope, we don't know. Nope, we're not releasing the records. Nope, we're not talking about this. And so you just bounce from crisis to crisis to crisis, all caused by essentially the same thing. And so Sheila's been on top of this. Mm-hmm. God bless her.
Doing a fantastic job, too.
Yes.
She is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
So, all right. So, yes. So you see that. And so now you start to wonder, I don't know, we would have to start spinning out some very, very strong psychology and social groups.
Is there a girl named Colleen Debkowski who works for Connecticut Sentinel?
Connecticut
Colleen
Colleen Debanowski.
Yeah.
There might be. Yeah. I seem to remember her.
She helped me a lot too.
That's good. Okay.
Kimberly Mullins was another one that helped me out. She was
right. So anyway, so this is a path that must be gone down eventually, or sooner rather than later. It's a weakness that the Democrats have. How we would exploit this, I have to think about for a while, but it's kind of staring me in the face, and I don't quite see the answer yet, but it's there. If anybody wants to chime in with an answer, we're ready.
Who are the people of let's go back to your graph chart again with the four different. All right, who we have to convince?
Stupidity.
Yeah, there's the upper quadrant, the competent, and we have the predators.
Okay,
we have the incompetent, and we have the helpless, right?
We're going to be going back to that a lot more.
We're going to go back to that. Who do we have to? Who are among all those people? Who are the ones we got to convince? It's not going to be the sinister. They're the enemy. So it's going to be these people on the other side of the graph.
All the one.
Company kind of know what's going on. They're on our team. They're the guys that are in movement with us.
I would. All right, God. I don't have a good answer to that because my first thought is you want to focus on the people who are effective and get results. So that's going to be the people in the upper right quadrant. Okay.
The confident.
Yes.
But most of those are already on board, though.
Those are the ones who are producing win-win solutions. In the lower left, the lose-lose. I mean, that's to me is the vast majority. They're
the uneducated. Yeah, they are. They're the uneducated voters, though. That you need the votes for them, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to win in the ballot box, and then if you're going to have a civil war, they're the ones you need to line up and help you fight the civil war.
Okay. The other point that this guy is giving us,
that's the answer. They're the ones you got to convince.
All right. So when you're talking about the laws of stupidity, you have. I don't want to say this. There's an inherent, I mean, in everything that he says, there's more people than you know about. They do more damage than you realize. Well, and they do damage, but then who's going to stop them? The smart people are going to stop the stupid people.
Yeah.
Okay? And so the only way I can think about it is sort of the two butting heads. So now the smart person has to waste his time stopping the stupid person from causing all this damage.
Mm-hmm. Well, the ones that are the smart, sinister ones are the ones that cause the most damage. The Barack Obamas of the world.
All right. So I don't know. Is it a good fit, a bad fit? If I try to put this onto all these dummies that show up at the No Kings rallies, they to me belong in the lower left quadrant.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're probably a mixture between the lower left and the upper left. But yes, mostly in the lower left.
Anyway. So we'll have to focus on that some more.
So maybe that's where the battleground is. If you want to win this thing, maybe we should send more people to go to these events and just sit down like I did in Manchester last year when I sat down with that woman at the park bench at the No Kings rally, and it kind of had her thinking a little bit.
All right. So we have to believe that they're at least somewhat susceptible, and you have to know how to approach them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is kind of like the walkaway movement, right? People who are waking up and realizing that the Democrat Party is horrible. And then they say, okay, well, I've had this discussion. I might as well, for the audience, go through this again. I'm going to talk about Georgia H again. Okay, so Georgia H, this very cute young liberal woman who did this walkaway video back in September of 2024, I think, or 23. And she describes her journey. Raised liberal, raised to hate and distrust conservatives, raised to never listen to Rush Limbaugh and all those other nasty conservative commentators, okay? And so she decides to join Teaching for America, okay? This was created by Obama many years ago. The objective was to train up teachers who would work in low-income inner-city neighborhoods around the country to improve education.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, she only got so far with it because at some point she became very uncomfortable with having to tell little kids that they're horrible racists. She just said, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And so she left and she went into nursing. Okay. And in nursing, she was confronted with abortion. And then she had to say at some point, I can't defend this anymore because she had seen the horrors. And so she knew she couldn't. Just no.
See, the thing that disturbs me the most is how come in a town where kids are being told they're horrible racists as little kids that the parents aren't showing up at the board meetings in big numbers and saying, stop this nonsense?
Well, I don't know about big numbers, but they've been showing up in these. It's just, you have people who have doubled down on these incredibly horrible ideas. That's just it. There are people, if I may, ladies and gentlemen,
I believe this garbage.
Hate America. They legitimately hate this country. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I can look at them and say,
they actually hate this country. They don't legitimately hate it. They actually hate it.
Yes. Well, legitimately to me.
Not legitimate at all.
Validates it, so to speak. But no. So, okay. So on they go. So to them, anything that is a negative, criticism, a horrible criticism of America, they're okay with it.
They're all over it, yeah.
And they keep going with it until they think otherwise. In any event, the point I want to make with Georgia H is that she went through these changes, okay? And after the problem with abortion, then she became uncomfortable. That's the key word, uncomfortable with being a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now she was just like looking around and I'm not so sure about this. Yeah, I don't know what I should do. Well,
walk away, honey.
Then at some point there, this is what I would call the third phase. She went through 4 phases. This is starting the third phase. The first was, wait, there's a problem. Second was to become uncomfortable with the problem. And then the third is to start walking away from this thing. But for her, there was no walking away. Her whole identity was wrapped up in being a Democrat and a liberal. And now she was going to decide she couldn't be that anymore. She went through a long period.
Took a while, yeah.
Self-doubt, of questioning. She was reading political philosophy. Since when does a young woman read political philosophy? Okay.
I would hope a lot of these young people that have been influenced the wrong way. Unfortunately, enough of them don't do what she does, though. They don't. Like, why not say, look, I got to give this Limbaugh guy, I mean, not Limbaugh anymore, he's gone, but yeah, why not say, let's give one of these conservative commentators a listen and just see what they have to say? I wish they were a little bit more open to that,
As I continue, I want to get to the end of this little story here. As she would eventually, all right, after reading political philosophy, then she started to break the rules. And she said, okay, I'm going to listen to Rush Limbaugh. I'm going to listen to Sean Hannity. And she was shocked to discover that she had more in common with him than she thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can think of liberalism creating these false barriers. And if we can break through, if we can get through to these people, they will start to listen a little bit at a time. And the emphasis is on at a time. Okay.
The ones that are mentally healthy enough to see through it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe you could say she was mentally healthy enough, but she was, the pressure she was under, the people she followed, the things she agreed to do and speak up for, and she was told to believe and follow her family and all this. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay. As she was finally listening to Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and others, she came to the following conclusion. I may never vote for a Republican, but I know I'm never going to vote for a Democrat again.
Mm-hmm.
It took her 2 years to get
through those phases.
2 years, okay?
I wonder if did she go through that? Do we know if she went through that on her own pretty much or until the end? Or,
it sounds like she pretty much went through it on her own.
I wonder if with the help from a mentor, a conservative mentor, like a TPUSA or something like that.
Yeah, there was this other story. It was in the New York Post a few years ago about this young woman who went to Mount Holyoke College. Is that in Massachusetts?
It's a very liberal college.
Yeah, so that was one of the 7 sisters. Now, the mother remembers what her daughter was like before she went to college. And when she came back, she was a radicalized, crazy-eyed feminist, okay? Mm-hmm. And there wasn't much she could do. Her daughter completed her 4 years, but her mother refused to give up on her. And I'm not kidding. She actually hired what you and I would recognize as a deprogrammer.
Okay.
It took 4 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Brainwashing, serious stuff.
It is very serious.
It's a cult. It really is. That Democratic Party thing has become a cult. Really, I mean,
around with the No Kings crap. Yeah, it's I don't know what example do I want to use. Here I'll try this one. There's a picture. I've used it before. There are, I think it's a certain kind of fungi. I'm trying to remember. I think it's a fungi. Anyway, what this fungi does is it gets in the head of ants and it roots, and it completely changes their behavior. So I'm thinking that what's happened is it's like communism becomes like this fungi.
Are you saying that there's a pill for TDS that could be out there someday? A TDS drug?
Well, okay. That would be the case. You have to be able to identify a disease process that you can quantify in the laboratory, and then say, "Yep, here's the TDS."
Well, I don't think. I think Trump derangement syndrome isn't. I don't think it's a particularly. It's not obviously. It's not its own disease, but what it is a form of paranoia.
Interesting. Let's see. Let me think about that. A form of paranoia.
Paranoia and maybe obsessive compulsive, a little bit in there too. It's a form of because he's coming to get you, kind of a little bit.
Yeah. All right. I'll go with that. Sort of. I want to think about that. That doesn't.
It may not be just pure form of paranoia, but I think certainly paranoia is a big part of it.
All right.
I want to throw a little obsessive compulsive, a little.
We have to
narcissism, a little narcissism.
Okay, we're going to talk about this. We got to talk about the original. What's this? Chance, I missed something. It's a selection, not an elect. Yeah.
Play psychiatrist here for a minute.
Yeah, we got that. And then, all right, when you get a chance, what's your thought about the Department of Justice? Oh, I could not be more thrilled. And here we go again. That two-faced, fork-tongued
Pam Bondi?
Creep, nope. Attorney William Tong.
Oh God, yeah. Please don't ruin my night with him.
So here he was, one of the guys who pioneered this whole thing with sanctuary state status, and now he's denying it, and he keeps on denying it. Sorry, Tongy boy,
he's a liar.
Fooling us. Sorry.
Hey, I got to get back to Pam Bondi just for a second here.
Yes. What?
I'm thinking about this whole situation. Now, how can it be? Now, if I want to get a job at the FBI, emptying their trash, they would have to fit. They would have to.
Be a great spy novel. Oh my God.
Yeah, they would have. If I did that, they would put me. They would know everything that's ever happened in my life from day one, right?
Yes.
Now, how the hell has Pam Bondi become Attorney General with a careful administration without people knowing that she worked for this law firm, for Democratic law firm? How does that slip through the cracks?
Oh God. Hold on.
You got an answer for me on that?
Hold on. I had to do a show with WPLR with William Tong. That must be thrilling.
WPL.
Yeah, sorry. So
PLR.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is the 1990? You're the 1990 graduate of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
1997.
97.
I'm not that old. I'm a 1990 graduate of Memphis Community College, though, however. 92.
Yeah, okay, so just so you know, this gentleman here knows a few things about broadcasting.
Oh, good. Tell him to get in touch with me because we're building a news network.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, so maybe DJ Ricky would like to tell us how that show went. We know that Mr. Tong, all right, I'm going to tell you a Tong story. This is how bad he is, all right, if one is not sure. Okay, William Tong is from Stanford. He ran for local offices. He was a state representative. So what happens in the run-up to an election for state representative is each party is trying to select their candidate to run for that office.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, there's a gentleman's agreement between the parties because when you file to run, there's a deadline. Well, sometimes the Republicans might file a little late. Sometimes the Democrats might file a little late. And so it's supposed to be an understanding if they file a little late. Well, not with Mr. Tong, okay? You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. He sues to keep the Republican off the ballot. So they go before a judge. Okay, this will tell you how messed up our judicial system is. To plead his argument that I, Judge William Tong, have worked so hard. I have sacrificed so much. It is only right that my opponent not be allowed to be on the ballot.
Are you kidding me?
And the judge agreed.
What?
The judge agreed. Okay.
Is that for this fall?
No, this was about 8 years ago.
Okay. Did that stand? So he ran unopposed?
Yes. Okay. So there you go. What else do you need to know?
Nobody appealed that? To the Supreme Court?
What appeal? They just, sorry. Idiots. No. No, we have a
Wait
terrible
a minute, though. Who was the Republican candidate who sued for that?
I would be guessing. I can't remember. There's so
I
many.
don't remember. But Toby Moffett or something like that? I don't know. No, he's older.
No, this is down in Stanford. Okay.
Okay, so whoever that is, why didn't he appeal to the federal government on that?
Time may have been an issue.
I've worked so hard, so I'm really.
This case may have been prosecuted in like August.
Oh, too late for the election.
Yeah. So what are you going to do?
You didn't do enough.
Okay. Again, we
didn't get any story. I mean, I filed politics. I never heard about that.
Okay, but so that's Tong, the same Tong. See, I worked for Clear Channel from 2000 through 2010. Radio Tower.
Running against him this fall?
Oh, Tom Scott. Oh my God, you're bringing up the name Tom Scott. Holy cow!
That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, we know. We remember.
Is anybody running against Tong this fall?
Yes, we have John Bolton, who is a lawyer from Westport, who's on the Republican RTC.
Different John Bolton, I take it.
And he is one of the planning and zoning commissioners. Now, if I may be so, I don't know about cynical or nasty.
He related to Michael Bolton?
No, he's not.
Okay.
No. But
he lives down the way too.
I'll throw it in. Sometimes when you look at him from the right angle, you could swear you're looking at darn, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Quinn? No. Who is the
Anthony Quinn?
No. Darn, I'm drawing a blank. I can't believe this. The Thomas Crown Affair and oh God. Here, give me a second. I'm not going to rest until I get this right.
Names are not my best thing in the world.
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. Okay.
Right.
So I have to hear a name a few times and really that has to have some kind of impact before the name will really stick with me.
Yeah, but no, it
sticks.
A remarkable likeness. Okay. So that will probably be a plus in his case. So that's where he's camped out for the last several years. And so now he's decided he's going to run for Attorney General. Let's see, Michael Bolton. Yeah, he used to come to Skate World in Orange when we were kids. Oh, wow.
Cool. I'm sure he knows that Tong will try every dirty trick in the book.
Oh, he'll create a few new ones too. You can count on that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Who's this judge? Can we get the transcripts of this court ruling? I think that's something to be brought up now, even if it's years ago.
It would be in the records. It would be in the records.
It ought to be.
Right. So.
Of course, Democrats run a campaign to destroy records too. You know that, right?
There's a lot.
Every social media post that's done is supposed to be saved in the archives of the Library of Congress, and apparently there's a system down there where they're destroying that stuff. So the way the Goths came and destroyed the records from Rome.
Oh, well, you're equating the Goths with the Democrats. That's not working for me. Yeah, they're worse than the Goths.
They're doing what the Goths do. They're borrowing from their playbook by trying to destroy our archives.
Yeah,
our historical record of goodness.
Think what's happened with the Fulton County Election Board in Georgia? Okay, they're suing to get the records back in order to destroy the records.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, no. And you know what's so stupid about this is that they claimed it was a hardship to hold the records. Now they've been relieved of the records and they want to back and destroy them. Okay. Yeah.
And then some idiot judge will grant it.
So it's stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad situation.
Right.
All around.
All right. So anyway, so he's running against William Tong. Knowing John as I do, he has good stage presence, and he's able to articulate things very well. But I don't know. He's going to need a real good crew around him, and I don't think he has that crew yet. I don't think he's going to get it either. So that's just me. I don't think any Republicans are going to win any real elections in Connecticut, period, unless they get the election integrity fixed, or people wake up and go out and vote both. Well, and then you hear about what Aaron Stewart happened recently with Aaron Stewart. What's that?
She was at a gathering in, I think, Madison or Old Lyme or somewhere down that way.
Yeah.
Somebody got through the crowd, started asking her a bunch of hard questions.
Yeah.
And, she came a little unhinged, and then they wanted to debate. Then the other candidates suggested a debate. Aaron doesn't want to debate with them. So
correct. That's right. She doesn't want to debate. So I would say that needs to be exploited to the full. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me just make it clear. When you have somebody who thinks they're the front runner and they don't feel a need to debate the other candidates, I can predict you're looking at one lousy governor. You're looking at a person who's going to have a problem making decisions, being able to handle conflict and confrontation. Because it's one thing to be
constituents that don't necessarily agree with her all the time, too.
Yeah, well, all right. So the thing is, she was daddy's girl, right? Her father had been the mayor of New Britain for God knows how long. So she basically inherited it. And I think she had 6 or 8 terms there. Okay, but she got chased out of town in the last election. She got whomped. The good timing. She gets whomped in New Britain. Now she's going to drag her so-called track record with her and go out and run for governor. And by the way, another act, when you see someone pull a stunt like this, you have these publicity stunts. Governors, candidates do them all the time. Well, what's one of the more common ones that those people you can't trust do? They go to the firing range. That's right. So, okay, there was Aaron.
There's her at the firing range,
chubby, porky
Second
little
Amendment champion, she said.
Firing away. Well, I'm sure they made sure they gave her a 22, so it didn't look too bad. She
Yeah.
had a problem shooting a shotgun. So you see that? Just one more sign of phoniness. She doesn't want to debate. She does this publicity thing at the shooting range. I mean, when are you people going to wake up? I mean, you Republicans, these dumb rhinos. Maybe I'm being redundant there. I just
It's frustrating, I admit.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know. I don't think they're gonna keep Betsy behind the 8 ball. They're gonna keep putting obstacles up in front of her. She better be ready.
Okay, but
the only thing I think I can think of about her is that she did her and Pataki did beat the Democratic machine in New York a few years ago.
That's big. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it. I'm choking on this as I say it. But they did run on what would have been a moderate platform. Pataki, he might have been a titular conservative, but not really. So on that basis, they picked up a lot of support around the state. But by contrast, just to throw it out there, piece of political history, we want to share it with you. When their opponent, that would have been Cuomo. Now, Cuomo was himself filled with visions of becoming president. And you want to know where his presidential aspirations died?
Where?
New Orleans. Like any good presidential aspirant, all right, he went out around the country trying, testing the waters.
Yeah.
Oh boy, do those waters get cold in Louisiana. Oh my.
That's great.
So it was there, and the way the people received him, he said, "This ain't working," and that killed it right there for him. So that said, what are we going to do about this? All right, the debate. I think we have to have there. Which one do you like better, the empty chair or the cutout?
The empty chair. Yeah. So what you're saying is we should have a debate between Fazio and McCoy, and then if Aaron doesn't want to show up, then we'll have a little of those little cardboard. Like
yes, the cardboard cutout because
I like the cardboard cutout the best.
Gives you someone to make fun of. What do you think, Aaron? There she goes, avoiding the issues again. Look at that.
Aaron and I do have a little chat thing going on Facebook every now and then.
Yeah.
It's mostly about negotiating to get her on our podcast with Selena.
All right. Well,
she gets to it and then disappears.
Yeah,
really, really ridiculous.
You get one shot at interviewing her because she'll never talk to you again after that.
No, I told her I'd let her say what she wants to say, but I might have some Q&A for her at the end. Wink, wink.
No, okay. It's one thing for her to say what she wants to say. It's another thing to have some questions. She wants to be able to walk out of there.
I told her. I said you could pretty much say what you want, but at the end there's going to be a little Q&A, so be ready for the Q&A, and that's where she's scared.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm afraid that it sounds very much like that's a deal killer with her. So just as well, I don't know.
Questions, which is a sign of that's more like a liberal mentality than a conservative one.
Yeah. So the problem now becomes, all right, so let me put her in a little capsule. Nice little tight capsule. Same old shit. Okay. It was the Republican town meeting, and the chairman decided to do a little survey around the room. Okay, who's for Aaron? Who's for Ryan? Who's for Betsy? And Aaron got them. I think it was like 7, 5, and 2. 7 for Aaron, 5 for Ryan, and 2 for Betsy. And one of the guys in the back, who happens to be a lawyer, had commented, he said, look, in my heart of hearts, I would vote for Ryan. This was what he said. But the one who has the best chance of winning, I think, is Aaron. And the response...
have a lot of popular support from the people.
Yeah, no, the problem is this. It's like the same attitude. Dude, how many times have we heard this? Oh, we have to be able to work with the Democrats, right? We have to be able to compromise with the Democrats. And I just had to remind them, sir, for an endless amount of time, call it 14, 15, 20, 40 years, all we have been done is dragged left and left and left and left because we're willing to compromise and they're not. And look,
you know what I think one of the biggest problems is?
What?
We're getting to our education system, right? And this goes back to when I was in school.
Yeah.
They don't teach civics in school. And that's therefore, and because of that, Erin doesn't want to debate. You would think that would hurt her, that would ruin her in a civically educated population, but it's not going to hurt her that much because people don't get it. And the other thing is, why don't they teach us our rights in school? They do a quick thing and they mention the Bill of Rights. They go through them real quick, but they don't explain. There's no teaching us in school about our civil rights and how we can exercise them, which I would think would be a pretty number one thing in a benevolent education system you would teach kids.
Well, get ready for that.
That's why we have a lot of the problems we have as well.
You can have many school systems where the students do not have constitutional rights.
Not in the school.
Right, not in the school. All right, but we've seen it get worse with social media. And now you have these school districts, they start to become intrusive, and they're spying on kids who are doing and saying things off campus, away from class,
that are conservative,
using social media that has nothing to do with the school system, and the school still goes after them.
Yeah,
that's outrageous.
That's crazy. That is outrageous. But the thing is, kids don't have constitutional rights. They're under the guardianship of their parents. But you can still teach them as they get older. When you're an adult, you're going to have these constitutional rights. And this is how you use them. This is how they're in detail.
Right, for what it's worth.
Most cops think the First Amendment is about freedom of speech. They don't know any of the rest of the First Amendment.
Yeah. Well, but you get in these weird situations. You've seen these videos before. There's this guy, he's learned the law. He's not a lawyer, but he's learned, there are a lot of statutory rulings around how police can approach people in the street.
That's right.
So you had this guy, and he was holding his ground, standing his ground. He's not going to give in to whatever the police officer was trying to do with him. And he kept citing statute after statute in his face. And it took a while, but finally the police officer had to back off.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody can't have that level of knowledge of the law in order to defend themselves against some cop who's going to manipulate them.
No, but if they got the right education in the public schools about things like that, and they would understand it more when it's something they don't teach kids. I mean, you have a right. The Fourth Amendment is all but gone in terms of if you're asked for your ID, people just show their ID. There's no argument.
It's got.
People don't realize that an officer does not have the right to ask you for your ID unless they can articulate a suspicion of a crime.
Mm-hmm.
They have to say, "Hey, we think you're committing this misdemeanor or crime, and now we want to see your ID." They just walk up and say, "I need your ID," and then people say, "Okay," and that comes right out of well, your papers,
right?
Right. So that's not how it's supposed to be, but people have accepted that as the normal now.
All right. Well, it's worse than that. Okay.
There's a lot worse than that. I could point to a lot of different things. This is one of them.
Okay. So let's talk about surveillance for a second. You have now pending a review and whether or not to renew the Section 702 in the FISA, Federal Something Surveillance Act, FISA.
Mm-hmm. Okay. FISA court?
Yeah, and the president has come out in support of renewing illegal surveillance of American citizens.
What?
This is not the Donald Trump I voted for. Sorry. No.
What? So he went along, continue that, huh?
That's what he said. So,
Did he give a reason for it?
believe it or not, there's actually bipartisan pushback against it. So, we're seeing these things here. The other one that's not good, we've heard of H-1B visas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one where we're bringing the Indian students in and they're taking American jobs in information technology. Okay.
Those are continuing, right?
All right. Well, there's another, and that he put up the $100,000 thing and it's reduced it somewhat, but not good enough. Not good enough. The whole thing has to be put to death. No more H-1B, period. No OPT, period.
Getting back to the FISA court thing again, though.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that the FISA court system has been around for a lot longer than even before Obama was here. I think it's been around for a long time.
Okay, but
and it serves a certain purpose where if it's used correctly and justly, it can speed along things that might need speeding along in this fast world. So I kind of understand why Trump renews it, but they abused it. Okay, it wasn't the FISA court that was the problem. It was the way it was used.
Where are the reform proposals? Okay, where are the people standing up for us, the American people, saying, this is bad. You cannot do this. We have to stop you here. If you do this, you're punished. No, we don't have any of that. And besides,
no, right.
We still have so many problems with the deep state when nobody's looking.
I know.
Minor functionary bureaucrat.
I wonder. Right, you're right. The first 6 months of the Trump administration, we heard about all this cleaning house going on. And now it's just kind of died off.
Yeah. Well, yes, and no.
Yes and hopefully, it's still. I think Trump's heart's in the right place still. But you know what? There is another subject I'd like to bring up though before we go off.
Yeah.
I want to bring. Have you heard of Kirk Moore? Probably throwing a name at you.
What's it? Flock cams? Have you ever heard of flock cams?
Flock cams? What are they? Geese cams? Goose cams?
Okay. All right, that's funny. Out of KAOS, chaos. Sure. You might be right about that. I believe wasn't KAOS from what was it? I can't remember that show. Darn. It was it was a spoof on secret agent shows, and you had this goofy guy as the spy, always doing stupid things. And like he'd have the shoe and the radio in the shoe, and he'd use the shoe as a phone. You don't remember that show, but that goes back in time. That show, I think that's what he's referring to.
But I want to talk about this guy from Ryan. His name is Kirk Moore.
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard the story or not.
No. Well, the name I don't know.
Okay, this happened just yesterday, I think.
Okay.
At a school in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
We almost had another Columbine situation.
That's right, Mr. Smart. I think it was Agent Smart. Get Smart. That's right.
Oh, that shows before my time. So we had this. We almost had another Columbine situation in Oklahoma the day before yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
A former student from 2 years out came into a high school with 2 handguns.
Mm-hmm.
Barged into the lobby of the school, took a shot at one of the students and missed. Oh no, I'm sorry. The first shot, the gun malfunctioned. So he took a second to kick it back into gear, took another shot over here and missed the student, and was about to take a third shot when the principal, by this time, the principal of the school, Kirk Moore,
mm-hmm.
charged the man, even though the man was holding 2 handguns,
right,
mind you, got himself shot in the leg with a third shot.
Okay.
And it continued, despite being shot, continued to get on top of this guy, take him down, disarm him,
right,
and sit on him until the police arrived.
Okay.
With a gunshot wound in his leg. This dude is the absolute definition of a hero.
Yes. Oh, no
videos out there.
Oh, when you think of what those jerks were like at what was that school, Alvady, in Texas, several years ago, they're all so scared and they're standing back. In the meantime, the gunman was killing all these people.
Yeah, this dude wasn't having it. Kirk Moore, principal, by the way, of I don't know the name of the school, it was in Oklahoma. Yeah. This dude, man, like he deserves like a parade. This guy, he probably saved the lives of
who knows
many teenagers. Potentially.
Who else was going to go take after this guy? No one, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Yeah. There's a similar incident in Tennessee. So this angry divorced father comes in. He's got a gun, but this school happened to have an armed security guard who was some middle-aged black woman, and she held it at bay. Oh my goodness! It was amazing to see. Amazing. Okay.
And well, the idea that you would not have
anywhere, and you're not you're going to put that gun down. Didn't move an inch.
The idea that there's even an issue to discuss about whether there should be an armed, trustworthy guard at the schools these days.
Yeah.
Anyone who would vote against that is a moron.
Yeah.
Pure and simple. It's just moronic. In Connecticut, most of our schools are still unarmed, by the way.
Still unarmed.
Unarmed, right. There's no one there to protect another new town at all.
No, this is a whole, with the Greenwich Education Council of Connecticut, this has been an ongoing issue, and we had written up this letter, sent it around, nobody responded. But, there are school systems that could need to do a better job. Now, I'll give you two examples where they do at least something that sends a message. There are some schools where they'll put a police car in front of the school.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what? No. You don't know. Right. You don't know.
Oh, you're not sure if there's a cop in the school or not?
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. It's better than nothing.
So
here's what I think they should do.
Even for for even a person who's thinking of casing out the place, this would discourage him.
Yeah, it's helpful, but I still think you need someone to a line of defense in the school.
Okay, well,
how about a teacher training program?
If somebody actually comes in and attacks, okay, but
yeah, what do you do then?
You have all this gray zone before the attack starts, and if you can do something that's a deterrent, like having one or two police cars out front, I believe it's going to be effective. Okay,
I think it'd be helpful. I don't know about
until
they catch on to this little trend.
Well, that depends. I mean, because not all schools are perfect in their security. So that's
how about a teacher training program where you pick 2 or 3 trustworthy staff or teacher members, you train them, and you allow them to keep a concealed weapon on.
There's another dimension here that hasn't been talked about. You've heard of Byrna, right?
The
Byrna guns.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Or they don't call them guns; they call them launchers. All right. So what they do is they shoot pepper balls and tear gas balls, and they can hit people, I think, as far away as 60 feet.
Okay.
And they're tiny little things, but they are expensive. Oh my goodness! I've been thinking
expensive than a handgun, probably. Yeah.
Well, but the notion is, you're going to be able to disable an assailant. I mean, even if they have a gun, okay, and if it's about security and you're worried about accidental harm, teachers, the schools should make these Byrna launchers standard equipment for everybody to carry around.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything better than what we're doing now, which is basically nothing. We lock the doors. Maybe sometimes they're doing the police car thing, but I don't know. It's pretty sad. It's something that when I was growing up, until Columbine happened,
it
was unheard of, really. That was the big gateway to all this.
I don't know. It was a standout, but there are others. Oh, my goodness.
That was the first major one.
Mm-hmm. Right. Anyway, so let me see here. There's DJ Ricky Smith is telling me all about what should I I'll have to look at this later, maybe. I don't know. I'm afraid we'll get disconnected if I click this thing. I'll look at it in a minute.
You got a minute? I'm gonna head out in a minute anyway, because I gotta have another hard-boiled egg and get some sleep. We got a busy day ahead of us tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm gonna call you off the air when we're done here tonight for a few minutes. If you got a couple minutes.
Yeah, I do. So I know we got those other issues to deal with. That's correct.
Yes, we do. Something that I want to bore the listeners with.
No.
The intricacies of.
No, I'll have to tell. Are you
going to be down at your digs on Saturday morning?
I'm going to be in the office.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. The digs.
Yeah.
The office digs. Either this or next, I'm going to come visit you so we can do a little strategizing.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Right.
All right, Dad, I think I'm going to check out.
All right. So here, just see what happens if, open in new window. Hold on here. Let me see. Entering.
Oh, he's getting technical on us now.
What is this? Take a look at this, and DJ Ricky, it's usually 9:30, and you just have to keep a lookout for us. We're both working hard during the day.
Yeah, it's a matter. I have a job. It's hard to, but we're working on it. It's going to become. Tell them it's going to become more consistent as we move along. You're clicking it. You're trying it now.
Okay,
yeah, that'd be great if I could see what they're saying too. This is the first time I've seen that. Whatever you just did.
All right. So what? Oh, each one of these.
All right. Now we're just playing around.
All right. That's right. We're stumbling around here.
We're gonna say goodbye tonight. We're gonna do a little more technical messing around on here for you guys.
Anyway, DJ, still have to drop
very soon though. Common Sense News Entertainment. God bless Connecticut. God bless America. God bless America. Good night, everybody.
All right, and you.